there's like a slight direction change, like in this hallway, if you don't completely like turn your body just a little bit to an angle, you walk straight into a wall. Like, how do you detect like slight direction changes? Do you just kind of like walk until you feel the wall and then find the corner?
Good question. How do I detect changes in direction in a hallway? For the most part, that's why I have my cane. And again, another type of shore would be where the floor meets the wall. And so I can go ahead and I can follow that shore until I get to a change in direction. And then, as you just said, I can use my cane to find the next change and follow that along. And you know, as long as it's not something like a post, you know, those posts that stand about this high, belt buckle high, say, and they put them right in the middle of the sidewalk. And if I miss that with my cane, that's another reason why I would want that oh no in the you know, the proximity detector there.
Yeah, you'll see, I think he's talking about the hallway out here, Phil. You'll see the hallway kind of, there's like a intersection.
It zigzags, yeah.
And it zigzags right in the middle of the intersection, kind of. So I think when you go out and navigate, hopefully, we won't let you run into anything. There's posts out there. But.
Again, I'd have to know where I was going. I mean, right now, if you all just didn't say anything and made me go outside, that would be, I would find it rather difficult to find my way out, even though I've actually been in this, you know, I've worked in this building until 2007. So there's obviously been a whole lot of stuff that you guys have done, or that has, you didn't do it, but that has been done to change things around. So it's basically an unfamiliar building to me. Okay, the question is, am I ever worried about getting mugged? That actually is a good question, because like I say, I do walk around quite a bit at night, those types of things. I move pretty fast for, you know, somebody who can't see where they're going. Also, you know, I'm carrying a stick and I can yell really loud and those types of things. It's a concern. It always has to be a concern, and that's why it's always good to know where you are in location. You know, I mean, it's just like anything else. Anybody who's traveling needs to know where they are and where they're going, and walking purposefully has a tendency to dampen that, you know, decrease the likelihood of that. You know, thank goodness I've never been mugged. How I would react to that, I don't know. But if you worry about that sort of stuff and don't go anyplace, you just wind up being at home just like anybody else would, and you'd never go out, and then you'd never get anything accomplished, and you'd have a pretty boring life.
So you don't carry pepper spray or anything?
I do not. Do I carry pepper spray? No, I do not. Actually, one of my students, she just got from her grandmother it's not a pepper spray, it's a little device that if she presses it, it makes about 100 decibel noise that continues until she turns it off. And that actually might be pretty effective, I would imagine, you know, especially if it's in a location where anybody else can hear it.
What's the farthest that you've ever wandered off course or something? Like trying to go home or something, you take a wrong turn, and you just keep walking, think you're going the right way?
Good question. What's the furthest I've ever been off course, and probably the longest time it's taken me to get back to where I'm going? I already told you about the park, you know, where I spent 20 minutes sort of wandering around in a circle, you know, trying to find out where I was. And fortunately, I first ran into the tennis court fence over there, and so from there I was able to find the solar panels, and then I knew where I was going. That took about 20 minutes. I have actually gone off course it's usually outside where I wind up going off course, but I went off course on Valley Road once where I didn't find the place where I normally turn off to go across the park, and I wandered almost all the way up to where Minogue was, and then I had to turn around and come back, and found my way eventually, but that took me about 15 minutes.
I'm way in the back.
If you had to pick between like a GPS device that told you where exactly you were, and a device that warned you of where objects were, like in close proximity, which would you prefer to have?
Okay, the question was, would I prefer a proximity detector or a GPS to help me navigate where I'm going? My answer is both. Because, you know, I mean, the stick is pretty much a very rudimentary proximity detector, okay? But again, if we had that thing where I had, say, 2.5 to 3 meters out, you know, out in front or in back or beside me, so I knew what was coming up in the way of obstacles, that would be just really a relief. At the same time, again, if I get into a place where I'm in an unfamiliar location, outside or inside, it would be really good to have a GPS to be able to say, okay, you're headed south instead of headed east, and then I can correct that, and then I can go over to where I need to go, that type of thing. On the inside of a building, again, it's going to be a little bit different, because inside it's more like a map that you need rather than a GPS. I mean, I already know that I'm in the, you know, in the Jaw Travis Student Union building, or I already know I'm in the Joe Crowley Student Union or the Scrugum Engineering building. I need to know what floor I'm on. I need to know how far I am from the exit doors to the building, or how far I am from room 103, those types of things. So it's actually 3 different things that would be necessary. One would be a map for inside, one would be a GPS for outside, and then of course always having the proximity detector to tell me whether there's an ashtray in the middle of the aisle, or somebody moved a chair so the lip of the chair is sticking out from the wall. Those types of things. Or there's a standpipe for a fire hose sitting up about shoulder or head height that's sticking out about 6 inches.
Since you have to rely on your hearing so much, what exactly do you listen for inside and out?
Okay, the question is, since I rely on my hearing so much, what types of things do I listen for? That's a good question. The stick, because I tap, and I can't hear it quite, you know, very well now, but on a sidewalk or on a tile floor or something like that, it creates a pretty good tap. And if I'm near a wall, or if I'm near a car that's parallel parked, or some other type of solid thing, I get an echo. And I can tell when I'm going into a hallway, or if I'm going in between 2 walls or something like that, simply by the echo. I can tell when a stairwell is coming up, kind of, when I start getting the echo back. So echo is one thing that I listen for. Texture of the ground. I can tell the difference most of the time between a carpet and grass, or even a short mown grass, lawn, that type of thing. Obviously, if you're in gravel or something like that, you can tell that you're on that type of a thing, even if you know, it could be gravel embedded in concrete as compared with loose gravel, those types of things. Granted, you feel it, but then you can also hear it moving around and know what kind of surface you're on. So the auditory is very important, and so is the tactile, because again, with the cane, I can tell some texture differences, And I'll tell you, one of the most difficult things, especially around in back of the university there, is that probably 3/4 of the driveways are hugely spalded. And some of them are so badly deteriorated that they're actually like going across gravel, loose gravel. So, you know, it really takes, I think the question that you're asking is, what is the most important thing about traveling without eyesight? And that is paying attention to everything. I really have to pay attention to what I'm doing. If I'm walking with somebody and we're having a good conversation or something like that, chances are better than not that I'm going to run into something. I mean, you know, a lamp post because I missed one of my cues, or the side of a wall, or those infamous guardrails or something like that. I really need to pay attention to what I'm doing. And as a consequence, sometimes I'll be walking along and I'm almost ignoring people, and somebody will say hello and they don't say it loud enough, or they don't say hello Philip or something like that. I don't know if they're talking to me, so I ignore them and just keep going on because I'm busy doing what I'm doing, you know, trying to avoid posts in the middle of the sidewalk or mirrors hanging off of trucks, those types of things.